Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I trust you're all ready, you are blessed. I want to speak today on the Millionaire Man. So before I start, can I just get a show of hands of all those people who want to be millionaires? You don't want to be a millionaire? Surprised. Alright. I'm good. I'm glad that most of you at least want to be a millionaire. I want to start off with this quote. At least 80% of millionaires are self-made. That means they start with nothing but ambition and energy, the same way that most of us start. So which means a lot of the millionaires that we see, it's not that they grew up with money and they became millionaires. 80% of them, they start where you are right now. They have ambition, they have a goal, they have a dream. I want to be a millionaire. And they work towards that. Which means every person who wants to be a millionaire can be a millionaire, because they just start with an ambition, and that's all that you need. I want to share the statistic. So this is the income statistics in South Africa. If you earn less than 7,000 rand per month, you are considered low income. If you earn between 7,000 and 45,000, you are middle income. And if you earn more than 45,000, you are high income. Now for me personally, I don't feel that 45,000 is a lot of money if you consider in terms of millions, right? But if we look at it, it means 55% of households fall into the category of low income. 55%, that means 55% of households make less than 7,000 rand a month. 35% make between 7,000 and 45,000. And 10% of households earn more than 45,000. Only 10%. And for me, those numbers are scary. Because to me, 45,000 doesn't seem like it's a lot. And I hope that it's something that we can all aspire to make way more than 45,000 rand. That was just an intro. So now let me introduce myself. So my name is Jantjies. I hold a master's degree in biology. I always wanted to study animals. So when I was in grade 9, my mother asked me, what do you want to be one day? And I said, I don't want to be inside an office or sit down. I want to be in the field. So that's what I did. I went to go study biology. My honors degree was on the aardwolf. I don't know how many of you know the aardwolf.
Yeah.
It's like a small little hyena. My master's was on the Cape gerbil. It's like a little rat kind of thing. I spent 4 years also teaching at a high school in Hanover Park, teaching geography, life science and mathematics. I have a black belt in Jantjies. That has nothing to do with the story, I just like telling it. I'm an adventurer, I'll tell you more about that later. I'm a 16-time published author. I write mainly fantasy books. These are some of our books, you can just take it around and look.
Wow.
So I'm a book coach. I teach people how to write, publish and sell their own books in 6 months or less. And then I'm also a professional speaker. So this was my first novel published in 2020. It's called The Turlock Triangle. Now I started writing in 2013 when I was in matric. In 2013 I wrote, and I had this idea for a book about animals that use swords and weapons and spears and bow and arrows, and they, anthropomorphic. And I wrote this book and I thought, this is going to make me a millionaire. This book. And I wrote it and I sent it through to about 22 publishers. All of them rejected me. But I kept writing, and I wrote another book, and I sent it through to the publishers, and all of them rejected me. And I wrote another book, and I sent it to the publishers, and all of them rejected me. But I kept practicing. 2019, I finally managed to get a publisher, and in 2020, my first book was published. It's this one. And then I decided later, I don't like this cover, it's ugly. So I made a new cover, which is that one over there. So that was my first book published in 2020, and I actually just bought the rights back to that book now. This is my book, The Gloat, the Gloat. That means greatest loser of all time. The search for Mokele Mbembe. This book actually came top 5 in the Author Elite Awards. So I wrote this book in 10 days. And for what the idea of this book was, because I love animals, I was watching a documentary and it said that in the Congo there might still be a dinosaur alive, because 70% of the Congo is undiscovered. So they said there might still be a dinosaur alive. So I thought, okay, I would love to go. Let me go. And And I checked online what's the price, and it said $10,000. Woo, can't afford that. So I thought, okay, if I can't go, let me write a book about someone who does go. And just for fun, let me make this guy a loser. So, greatest loser of all time. I wrote that book in 10 days because the idea was so fresh in my head, it was easy to write. And then that's the series that you have there. That's my fantasy series. I published it in 2021. It is a 7-book series, and then I have a free ebook that you can get on my website if you ever want to look for it. But this is about a military guy who has powers. Everybody there has their own powers. Some of them can control water, some can control fire, some can speak to animals. He's born without a gift at all. And that's the basic of it. But he has a goal, and his goal is he wants to become the world's greatest soldier. This is the 2 books based on my book coaching. I wrote both of these this year. This is Your Book is Better Than a Business Card and The Book Business Card. Both books took me 2 days to write. Very easy. But this is because I have 11 years of practice of writing and failing and writing and failing and writing and failing until I eventually succeeded. And this is basically what I started this year, because for the last 4 years I was a high school teacher, and this year, January, I decided I want to be a book coach. I don't want to work for people who are stupider than me. So, yeah. That over there is my, when I spoke at Comic-Con. So Comic-Con in 2023, I spoke at Comic-Con on stage on the state of fantasy in South Africa. That was my first time on TV, and this was my adventure walk. So it took me 2 days to walk from Mitchell's Plain to Ceres, just me and my dog. When I got there, my legs were gone. My left knee couldn't bend. I couldn't feel my toes for 2 weeks after. My face had sunburn, I had a fever, my back was sore, everything was sore. But I managed to do it, and it's one of my stories of resilience. That's me.
You didn't wear sunblock.
Yeah, I didn't wear sunblock. I was terribly prepared for that. I thought it was going to be like a normal jog day. Alright, so let's go to the problem. This is pictures of Hanover Park, and there are a lot of problems. But 80% of the problems in our townships can be solved with 2 words: more money. And people are going to say, no, you shouldn't say that. Money is not the cure to everything. I am telling you right now, money can solve most of those problems that they have. And if you ask anybody in that place, if I gave you now, let's say 100,000, what would it do for you? Wow, it would change my life. So money, more money can solve at least 80% of those problems. So let's go through some of those problems. Girls give their bodies away for money. I was a high school teacher, and the number of teenage pregnancies are crazy. And a lot of times it's because they're dating these guys who actually have money, and they can provide them with what they haven't had. And so they give themselves away. Why does prostitution occur? It's for money. Because they feel this is at least something that they have that can give them money. We have children who can't eat because there's no money. That's why we have feeding schemes in our schools. Parents, they don't have time for their children because they're working 2 jobs to pay debts. There was a boy in my class. I used to be a grade 9 teacher. And I gave him a letter because he had disciplinary problems, and I told him, I want to see your parents. And he told me, sir, I can't bring my parents. And I said, no, you must bring your parents. He says, no, sir, you don't understand. My parents are not at home. He's grade 9, 15 years old. And I said, what do you mean? My daddy doesn't live with us. He works in Worcester or someplace like that. And his mother is working for the month on a boat. He's alone at home, him and his sister who's in primary school, for the whole month. He must take care of his sister, and they'll just send money. And the reason why is because they have debts to pay. They have things they need to make money. His mother took the first job that she could get because she's been looking for long for a job. Now let's say that woman had money, and she had time now to spend with the child. And because she has time to spend with the child, that disciplinary problems gone. A lot of our problems can be solved with money. The education sucks because of money. Children can't go to the schools that they need to go to because they have no money. Robbery takes place. Why? No money. Gangsterism. is because they join gangs because they see these gangs have money, have resources that they don't have, and they want those same things. And drug abuse is an outlet also because of no money. So money is a big problem. And that's why I speak on this thing. Because I believe if we can rearrange our mindsets to a point where we are going to make money, it is going to change our lives. Everybody should be aspiring to make more money. You are not supposed to be struggling. You are not supposed to be looking for how can I make more money? How can I do this? It's a sickness in our townships, especially in the black and the colored community. It's a sickness where you don't have money, where it's always a struggle to survive. And that is not how we're supposed to be living. So the question is, if money is this big problem, why doesn't God just help us? Because I'm a born-again Christian and I believe, God loves us. But this is Miles Monroe. He says, God will never give you what you cannot manage. Which means, if you can't manage money, He's not going to give you money because you're just going to waste it. And I used to pray, Lord, give me the money as an example to show, I can do it. Because I preach a lot in the church, and there's something that I hate in the church. I'm a big believer in the miraculous. But I hate people who expect the miraculous without any management. Can I say it again? I hate people who expect the miraculous without any management. They just want God to bless them with $1 million. Never did any work for it. They want God to bless them with this. Never did anything to earn it. God will not give you something that you cannot manage. And I want to give you an example of it. How many of you have seen the show, I Blew It? Ooh, it's crazy, right? This is Mopani. She won 14 million rand through the national lottery. 3 months, 7 million was gone. And you say, this lady must be stupid. I tell you, most of us, if we were in her condition, we would have done the same thing. Because in her condition, she doesn't know how to manage. The first thing that happened was, when she got the money, she celebrated with everybody in the township. Threw a party for a whole week. Everybody suddenly became her best friend. And they're all there, and they're all drinking, and they're all smoking and gambling, and she's giving money away left and right. After the week, she started buying cars for her family. And then for her boyfriend, she bought a car. And the boyfriend crashed the car. And then she bought and said, nah, leave it. I can just buy another one for you. And she bought the boyfriend another car. And then he dumped her. And then she got a new boyfriend. And she bought that one also a car. Because, they love her now. Because, she has something to love about her. And then she realized, oh, wait. The money's going up. This is now 3 months in, 7 million is gone. I need to now start thinking about how I'm going to use this money. And she bought herself a bed and breakfast. But she didn't know how to manage it. And it ended up being just a place for her friends to sleep for free. So now her friends is sleeping for free at the bed and breakfast that is supposed to make her money. And she is losing money left and right. And then she started saying, okay, the money's going. Let me draw a lot of cash and then hide it under my mattress. And then her brother started stealing the money. 2 years gone. All she has now is that bed and breakfast that is making very little money. 14 million gone in 2 years. God not going to give you something if you can't manage. Good example. Because you are just going to waste it. Unless you are internally prepared to be a millionaire man, you are not going to be able to handle having $1 million. Now ladies, when I say millionaire man, I'm only saying millionaire man for the alliteration. I like millionaire man, wealthy woman. But man, it just refers to being. But if you want to become a millionaire, it means you need to first be the millionaire before you become the millionaire. Change who you are. Change the way you think. Change the way you see people. Change the way that you relate to people. That is the things that make you become a millionaire. This is a quote from Brian Tracy. Brian Tracy, his job is, he teaches people how to become millionaires. That's his whole job. He says, the first million is hard, but the second million is inevitable. That means you're going to struggle hard just to make that first million. But after you've made that first million, to make the second one become so much easier, because it's not making the million that's hard, it's becoming the person who can make a million. Which means there's skills you need to learn. You need to learn integrity. You need to learn work ethic. You need to learn how to work hard. You need to learn punctuality. You need to learn how do you develop quality relationships and connections. How do you set boundaries around yourself? That lady, no boundaries. And because of that, anybody is allowed to come in and take what they want. If you want to be a millionaire, you first need to become the person who can make a million. And from there, making millions become easy. And that's what we want to do. So, what I want to do is, I want to go through ways or tips that you need to know to become a millionaire man. So I want you to take notes. I'm going to give you 7 tips to become a millionaire man. Are you ready? Before I go on, is there any questions? No questions? Yeah? Alright, let's get to 7 tips. Number 1, put God first. And the reason why I say this is because I'm a born again Christian and I don't advocate for any other God except Jesus Christ. But this is Ezra Taub Benson. He says, when we put God first, all other things, they fall into place or they drop out of our lives. That means people who is not supposed to be in your life, they're gone. Because your value should naturally edit out those people who is not supposed to be in your life. Now you start setting boundaries in your life. You start realizing, I don't want to do these things. I don't want to spend time with these people. These are the type of people who just drain me. And everything, when you put God first, you start to develop a work ethic. You start to develop ideas of this is how money should be spent. This is how money should be given. There's a problem when you become rich. Before you become rich, let me say, you have the mindset of, I want to be the blesser. You guys know, right? Before you become rich, you think, oh, if I'm not rich, I'm going to help everybody out. I'm going to help everybody. I'm going to be the blesser and everybody's going to benefit from me. But as you slowly move towards becoming a millionaire and you become that millionaire man, your mindset changes to realize just because people need it doesn't mean they deserve it. Just because they need money doesn't mean I should give them money because they are just going to waste it. There are some people you can't give 10,000 rand to because in a week that 10,000 rand is gone. You just wasted giving them 10,000. They don't know how to manage money, and if you give it to them, it's a problem. So if you put God first in your life, you start to develop what we call kingdom principles. Things that makes you think of, how do I manage my time? How do I manage my relationships? How do I manage my money? How do I manage my career, my goals? All of those things, they start to fall in place. And when life gets hard, you at least have a foundation to put your faith in. That is what it means when you put God first. So that's step number 1. You need to put God first if you want to become a millionaire man. Number 2, dare to dream. This is Les Brown. Your dream was given to you. If someone else can't see it, that's fine. It was given to you and not to them. I'm going to give you a golden nugget. Then write this down. If you have an idea that you can't get out of your head, that idea is from God. If you have an idea that you just can't get out of your head and it's sitting in your head and you can't stop thinking about it, that idea is from God. Go for it. Push for it. That's that first time I found my book my book idea in 2013. Never before that did I think of being a writer. I thought of this book and I couldn't sleep, and I thought, oh, I need to get this book out of my head, and I wrote it out. It failed, but that idea was from God, and it opened up the door to the next book and the next book until I found the book that actually could get published. So if you have an idea, if you have a dream, you need to identify that this dream is from God and it is something that I need to chase. You need to start dreaming higher. All of you can be millionaires. And wouldn't it be nice if all of you became millionaires? Your life would be so much different. We don't want to struggle. Am I right? You want to be a millionaire. We don't want to struggle with if we want to go on a trip, can I afford it? That's the worst thing to think of, can I afford it? Or what does my bank account look like now before I go make this decision? I never want to have that problem in my life. What does my bank account look like? Can I afford this? So you need to start dreaming. That idea that you have, one day you're going to get an idea. It will never be fully formed. Mark Zuckerberg says, an idea is never fully formed. So you get an idea, and it's easy. Your job is to work at that idea until it becomes something solid enough for you to use. That's how it became with my first book. I had a rough idea and I just wrote it. And then the second book, a rough idea, and I just wrote it. Third book. And when I came to the fourth book, I realized, wait man, something is wrong. And I watched this video called The Power of Planning. And I realized, oh, that's the problem with these last few books. I haven't planned anything. And so I was busy already writing the fourth book, and I was on 40,000 words, and I deleted all of it. And I said, okay, let me plan it. And I planned structure, characters, storylines, scenes, everything. And then I wrote it, and that's the book that got published. Because your idea is never fully formed. You always have to figure out a way how to do this. In the beginning of this year, when I started my book coaching business, I just had an idea of, you know what? I can teach people how to write books. Because I have 16 books published. I want to figure out how do I make a business of this? Because I had a lot of people messaging me, hi Carl, I love your books. I have a book idea. How do I write it? How do I publish it? So I thought, okay, let me make this a business. February, I was convinced I was going to make 100,000. I had a program called Book Writing, Publishing and Marketing Masterclass. 2,500 rand. Very cheap, 10 days masterclass. Food is provided, notes are provided. You know, very cheap. And I thought, okay, if I get 70 people, there's at least 100k. And I rented out a building, I paid for marketing, on Facebook ads. Nobody signed up. I lost all that money. That was the last of my money, gone. The next month again, I tried something new, failed. And I tried, okay, let me try maybe not master classes. Let me make an online course. Failed at that. And then I said, okay, let me try coaching. And you have to keep trying. And the reason why I can keep trying is because I know this idea didn't just come out of thin air. This idea was something that was put into my head by God. It's something that I can't get out of my head. I want to. And even if I'm struggling and I can't make any money, I'm going to follow it until I get it. You need to dare to dream. And I was driving in the car with somebody and they were saying, but you're not making any money. And I told them, I don't want to hear your negative talk. Yes, there's nothing. My account was on negative. Right? I don't want to hear, and every week the telecom is phoning me, every week Standard Bank is phoning me. I don't want to hear your negative talk. I only want to speak positive. There might be negatives now, but I guarantee you, when I'm 30, I'm going to be a millionaire. That's the kind of mindset that you need to have, where you can dare to dream to be so high. And it might look, everybody around you in your community, they just can't break out of that poverty. You need to be able to be the one who can break out of it, who can dare to dream beyond it. So that's step number 2. You need to dare to dream. Number 3, and this one is gold. Join a group of visionaries. I tell this to people consistently. Join a group of visionaries. And this is going to be your homework for the next 3 months of the year. This will be your homework. Join a group of visionaries. We call it OQP. It means only quality people. Only quality people. You need to join a group of visionaries. People who are better than you at something that you want to do. This is Warren Buffett. He's one of the top 5 richest people in the world. He says it's better to hang out with people who are better than you. Pick out associates whose behavior is better than yours, and you'll end up drifting in that direction. Last year, May, I went and I joined a group called PSASA, Professional Speakers Association of South Africa. Now, I've been speaking for the last 4 years already. But I joined this group and I was there for one day just to see how it is. And I saw, wow, these people, they charge 60,000 Rand to speak for 1 hour. They're making money. And I thought, these are the people that I need to be, because you can just feel that professionalism. There's millionaires in that room. And I decided I need to join immediately. And I joined, and we meet up once a month. And in this year, it was one of the toughest years of my life, where I had negative balance. And I'm going for lunch with millionaires. And they don't know I got no money in my account. And I don't tell them also I don't have any money, because I could have just borrowed money from them. It would be nothing. But the reason why I hang out with them is because the more I rub shoulders with them, the more I start to adopt their mindset. I start to see, oh, this is how you work. This is what professionalism is. Oh, okay, this is how you value yourself. So, like I told you in the beginning of the year, I charged 2,500 Rand for my book coaching. And then, next month, what I did was, I got no clients, up the price. And the next month I got no clients, I up the price even more. And the next line, no clients, I up. And I keep raising the price. And you say, but aren't you supposed to make the price, lower so that people can afford it, and that's why you go? No, they tell me, it's never price. Price is never the problem. If price is the problem, it means you've got the wrong clients. Do you know how much they charge? They charge $8,000 just to work with them on a coaching for 2 months. 8,000 for 2 months. $8,000 is about 160,000 Rand. More, I think a bit less. 160,000 Rand they charge for 2 months. Do you know how much money they're making there? And the more I rub shoulders with these people, I realize, okay, this is the value that I have. I have 11 years experience writing. I have 4 years experience publishing, marketing, public speaking. I have all this experience. I have a lot of value. But the more I rub shoulders with them, the more I realize my own value. And I have now the confidence to charge more, even if I don't have any clients. That's what it means. And I see these people and I see the work ethic. I see how they work on tech. I see what they do. In April, we went to the conference in Johannesburg, the PSASA conference. My gosh, the millionaires in that room. And all of them are just, you can just sense the professionalism with them. Millionaires, they don't just allow anyone to sit around with them. They've become that millionaire man where they've developed boundaries around their life. And if you want to enter in, they need to see a potential in you. They need to know you're not there for their money, but you're there to develop with them and grow with them. That's what they want. So I want you to join a group of visionaries. That's your homework. Go online, type in elite mastermind or professional groups to join. Most of them cost like 250 Rand to join. You go, you join. It's not for clients, it's not for this. You join just to start developing and rubbing shoulders, finding out how punctuality works, finding out how work ethic works. They teach you about how to use AI, how to develop skills, how to think of yourself as more, because you are more. The problem is our minds can't accept it because we're hanging out with people who's lower than us. If I'm poor and I'm hanging out with people who are poor, what is that going to do for me? Absolutely nothing. You're going to stay in that place. So you need to hang out with people who are better than you so that you can start to drift in that direction. That's how things work. Iron sharpens iron. But if you're hanging out with wood, you're only going to become blunt. So make sure you start to develop, you start to join a group of visionaries. You practice only quality people. People in your life who can actually make you grow, people who can benefit you, not people who gossip and gossip and gossip. We call them chickens. They just cluck. They talk. They talk about people, the eagles who are flying. That's what chicken people. Now those type of people, you eat them, but you don't hang out with them. Join a group of visionaries, people who are high flyers, people who you aspire to be like. I listened to this guy speak. His name is Billy Selekane. He says there's 3 things that they look for in a public speaker. Number 1, they look for the price, and price only counts for 13% of what they look for. They look for content, and they look for your skills. Guess how much this guy charges? He charges 90,000 rand to speak for an hour. He goes and he says, I had a booking for 90,000 rand, and there's other people phone me saying they want me to speak at the same time. And I told them I can't, I'm already speaking. And he said, and they tell him, we'll up the price for you to come speak, 110,000. He said, oh yes, hallelujah. He goes to speak for 110,000. But as he's there speaking, there's another man speaking, this Indian guy. And this guy is on fire, he's killing it on stage. Afterwards he goes and he speaks to the guy and he asks, how much do you charge to speak? And this guy says he charges 250,000 rand for an hour. And they on the same level when it comes to public speaking skill. The only reason why that one charges more is because he values himself more. He values himself more, and so he charges more. Now I don't charge 40,000 rand to speak, because as I'm growing, I learn the confidence in myself to charge more. So I'm not yet on that level. But as I rub shoulders with those people, I guarantee you by next year, I'm charging that amount. And by the year after that, I'm charging even more. Because I'm rubbing shoulders with people who do it. There's a quote from Les Brown where he says, you earn between 2,000 and 3,000 of your closest friends. Which means, if I earn 30,000 and I spend time with Andiswe regularly, that means within a few years, Andiswe is supposed to make at least the same amount of money as me, or close, because she starts to develop the same type of mindset that I have. That's what you need to do. So your homework is? Please, before the end of the year, you join a group. Number 4. Develop a high value skill. Develop a high value skill. That's it, Miles Monroe. If you want to become successful, seek to become a person of value. There needs to be a skill that you know. And the more skills you know, the more successful you will be. So find something that you know you're good at. For me, it was writing books. Now, I'll give you a little tip. You can write this down also. If you have multiple things that you are good at and multiple things that you want to pursue, find the easiest thing first, master that before you go to the next one. For me, what it was I wanted to be a game developer. I wanted to make movies. I wanted to write books. I wanted to do all these different things. And I thought, okay, I'm in matric. What is the cheapest option for me? Because I've got no money. And for that, me, it was writing books. Because to publish a book, you don't need any money at all. And I thought, okay, so this is what I'm going to practice. And I practice, and I practice, and I practice, and I practice, and I practice that skill until I become the person who is valuable in that skill, where people want me. I've had contracts where I was paid to write for people, where I was paid to write scripts for people, because I became a person of value in writing. And now I want to become a person of value in public speaking. And then I want to become a person of value in movie making. And I want to become a person of value in games. But I'm working myself slowly towards that. And that's the same thing you need to do. Find a high value skill, learn it, master it, and then you use that to fund yourself. And it can be anything. It can be anything. It can be being an accountant. There's accountants who charge 3,000, and then there's accountants who charge 300,000. And the difference is, one has mastered the thing that the other one hasn't. One has more confidence to charge 3,000. 300,000, where the other one only has the confidence to charge 3,000. And that's why joining a group of visionaries is important, where you can develop that confidence to think, I can actually charge this amount because I feel I'm worth this amount. And you give them what you are worth. That's what you need to do. So, if you want to become successful, seek to become a person of value. Find something that you can grow in your life, a skill that you can develop, and then you start charging for that. We want to become millionaires. I don't want to see you guys struggle in the future. Am I right?
Yes.
Good. Number 5. Donald Trump. Oh, I love this guy. People hate him, but I love him. He says, work hard because someone is always watching. Work hard, someone is always watching. And that is so true. Someone is always watching you. I'm going to tell you a secret that I should not be telling you. I'm busy now working on a movie. Right? I'm working on a movie. It's my first time. Guess how this person found me? I just randomly posted my content on LinkedIn. They messaged me saying, hi, I saw your work, love it. Would you like to work with me on a movie on the script writing? And you think nobody is watching you. Nobody is watching what you put out. When you enter the workplace, make sure that you are working. And you work, it doesn't matter what your friends are doing, they're complaining about this, complaining about that. You work for yourself. And working hard is like a bubble. This is how it works. You work, and you work, and you work, and there's nothing to show for it. But internally, you've grown to become closer to a millionaire man. And then you work, and you work, and you work, nothing to show for it. No money. But internally, you grew. And you work, and you work, and you work, and still nothing to show for it. No money. But internally, you grew closer. And then finally, one day, that bubble pops, and you become an overnight millionaire. And people think, where did this millions come from? But they don't know you've been working for 7 years, struggling to become that person who can make $1 million. And now suddenly you're that person of value. So you need to make sure you are working hard because someone is always watching you. Work ethic is such an underrated thing. When I was at the school, I taught for 4 years. I was working. Those children, that was the only complaint they could ever give about me. Whenever I come here, it's just work. That's the only thing they complained about. But they could never ever complain about the way I teach. They could never ever complain about how I work with them, or their assignments, their results. They could never complain. I left the school last year, and when I came back to visit, the children were crying. Because they saw, sir, we complained about you and how these other teachers, they're not giving us work and we don't know what's going on. They complained about my work ethic. Because they know, because when I was there, their results went from 30% to 90%. Because every day it was work, work, work. And even if I got no recognition, my work was mine because internally I'm growing as a person. And that's what you need to do. So you need to start developing yourself into somebody who can have an excellent work ethic. Work ethic is what they call grinding. You've heard of grinding? Where people say, I'm on my grind. They're not on their grind, they're lying. They went to their normal 9 to 5. That is not on your grind. On your grind means when you're done working and you come home, you start working on another thing. And that's how in 2021, I wrote and I published 9 books in 1 year. My goal was write and publish 10 books in 1 year, but I only managed to get to 9. Now, this is what happened. I was working full-time as a teacher. So from wake up at 6:40 and I get home around 3:30. Then I do ninjutsu. So Tuesdays and Thursday nights I have to do ninjutsu. I pray from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock. I have family commitments, I have church commitments, I'm studying for my master's degree, so I'm writing my thesis. But I have this idea that I want to write 10 books for the year. I have a goal. So where do I find the time? 10 p.m. till 2 a.m. my writing time, which means I got 4 hours to sleep. That's what it means when you're on your grind. That's a work ethic where when other people are sleeping, you're working. There's a beautiful quote in the Bible that says, in the morning sow your seed, and at the night do not let your hands be idle, because you don't know what will be successful, this or that or both. That means in the morning you go to your job and you do work there, and at night you follow your passion, because you're going to have to enter a job where you can at least make money for some job security. But in the night you follow your passion and you work towards your passion. A lot of people say they can't do it because they're tired. Those are not the people who have a millionaire mind. So at night you work towards your passion. Find out what that passion is. Train, learn, develop a skill. Take a 6-month online course. People don't understand the power of those online courses. In 6 months, you can learn to become the best expert at AI, and then you sell that skill. You can become so excellent in 6 months. So then at night, you do what you need to do to develop a skill. Because once you've got that skill, now you've become the person of value that people want. But that requires work ethic. It requires that when you go to your job in the morning, you give your all. And when you work on your dream at night, you give your all. Because you don't know which one is going to be successful. This or that or both. We want to make sure that within the next 5, 6, 7 years, that all 8 of you here, you are earning at least over 45,000. And by 30 years old, you are a millionaire. Am I right?
Yes.
You're looking at me like you got a goal, a dream to be that millionaire. Number 6, be teachable. And this is something that is so sad when you see people, they are not teachable. They don't like to be corrected. He says being open to correction means making yourself vulnerable, and many people are not willing to do that. I spoke for ABSA 2 weeks ago. I spoke, and some of the people of PSA was there, and this one guy who ran the event was there, and he charges 50,000 rand to speak. And I know I killed that. I killed it. I got a standing ovation. But but afterwards, what I did was I said, Bruce, I'd like to talk to you. I want pointers. Give me pointers and correct me on what I did wrong, so that I can become better. You need to be open, be teachable. That's how you're going to grow. I got scolded out the other day by my mother. I got scolded out the other day about my dress code. Because for me it was, we're just going to a family, event, family party. I got scolded. You want to be a millionaire? Look how you're dressing. You're not dressing like a millionaire. You need to be open to those kinds of corrections. Where they tell you, you need to stop hanging out with that person. That person is going to drag you down. Are you open to that correction? Or do you feel every time when someone corrects you, they just want to be involved in your life? Especially if that correction comes from somebody who is better than you at a certain area. So if they're morally better than you and they are correcting you with regards to morals, listen to them. If they're better than you at handling money, listen to them when they correct you on money. You need to be open, be teachable, be open to correction. That is going to teach you so many things. I've learned. I spoke at Pecha Kucha. Pecha Kucha is this event that happens in town at least every 2 months, where they get speakers. And I spoke there, and the people went crazy. Ooh, you were amazing, man, nice. And I spoke, and there's this guy, there's a few guys that spoke to me who also do public speaking, and they charge a lot of money. And they say, oh, they'd love to mentor me. And my head's, get big. Yes, I'd love to be mentored. Because I want to be mentored and get better. And this, one of my friends is also a public speaker, she phones me and she says, I know that when you enter into public speaking, you have a lot of potential. And people, they see it and they start recognizing that you have all this potential. I want you to be careful about who you allow to mentor you. Because if you just allow anyone to mentor you, then it means they're just going to take. You need to put boundaries. Assess who's the right people, who's the wrong people. Some of them, they just want your money because they're not going to mentor you for free. You must pay them for the mentorship. That's a correction that I need to be able to take. Last week, my manager said, she sent me a message, she said, this just dropped in my spirit. The public speaking world is fickle and you can grow prideful very quick. Make sure that you put God first and He will exalt you. That's something that I need, it's a correction that I need to take, where maybe I started to get a little prideful of how I see myself. Can you accept correction where you can remain humble enough to be taught? Be teachable. When you enter your workplace, I don't know what kind of careers you are going into, but when you enter your workplace and the manager corrects you, just say, yes, thank you, I'll work on this, and then you actually do work on it. Don't say yes and then you go in and roll your eyes. Work on those things. Those are things that's going to make you climb the ladder. And the more open you are, the quicker you climb. I was now a young teacher. I started at 23, 24, and I don't have a teacher's degree, by the way. So I never studied how to teach. I never studied how to run a class. I have a master's in biology. What happened was, 2 days before the school started, they said hi. They phoned me and said, hi, our maths teacher suddenly quit. We're looking for a replacement. Are you willing to come in? And it was just before COVID, so I said, yes, sure. And I went and I got money that year during COVID when I wasn't teaching. Hallelujah. Anyway, but I was there and I ended up staying there for 4 years. And now you enter this classroom and there's like 40, 50 children staring at you. No experience teaching. And I have to now discipline these children. No skills. What did I do? I went to the teachers who are seasoned experts and I asked them, give me advice on how to actually discipline a class. How do I? And they tell me, you follow the code of conduct. This is what you do, this is what you do. And there's other young teachers. In 2 years, my class was disciplined. I learned how to discipline a class. Those other teachers still struggling because they want to do things their own way. But I learned from the seasoned experts. I took the correction and I learned and I used it. That's what you need to do. Finally, number 7 is persist. And this is something that people, they need to learn. Is there anyone here who wants to one day start their own business? 3. Alright. Persistence is the iron quality of success. If you persist long enough, you must eventually succeed. It is the iron quality. It's that one thing that makes your head, your forehead strong. When people say, oh, it's not working, it's terrible, and you keep persisting. And some things fail, and you keep persisting. And you're losing money left and right, and you keep persisting. An entrepreneur is someone who can persist, who can go through trials and tribulations, and they keep persisting because they see that vision that they want to. They see that goal. I want to become a millionaire. And there's not one single person who's a millionaire and they have no ability to persist. You need to have this skill of persistence where you're able to push. This year has been the hardest year of my life. The hardest year of my life, where there's no money, negatives in my bank account. And you know, when you before when I was teaching, I was making 36,000, right? When I was teaching, I was making 36,000, and I could, provide for my house, give my mother money, do stuff. And then suddenly I stopped teaching, and I'm gonna work on this book coaching. And 2 months in, all my money is gone. No money, no clients. 3 months in, no clients. 4 months in, no clients. 5 months in, no clients. And you think, oh, maybe I must find a job. But if you can persist and push, eventually you must find a client. You must. And in that time, I learned so many skills. I learned, how do I develop content? How do I find leads? How do I learn sales? How do I convert people from a lead to a sale? How do I use AI? How do I edit videos? How do I do this? How do I do that? I'm learning all these things while persisting with that goal in mind. I'm going to be a millionaire. I refuse to not be a millionaire. I refuse to go back and work for people who can't appreciate my skills, who can't appreciate how good of a worker I am. Because in the 4 years that I was teaching, I became very comfortable. You can take this, there's a nugget, catch it, it's a nugget. Take this. God, life will prepare you for your dream. Write that down. Life will prepare you for your dream if you are willing to accept the preparation. Life will prepare you for your dream if you are willing to accept the preparation. In the 4 years that I was teaching in high school, I got very comfortable because I'm making money, there's no struggle and anything. I still want to be a millionaire, but the drive has slowly died down because I'm actually becoming comfortable in what I'm making. And God throws me a curveball. Last year, December, I get a phone call from the government saying, we know you don't have a teacher's degree. I don't know how you were teaching for that long, but we're going to have to cut you off. Leave. Done. Contract over. And suddenly, I'm without a job. 4 years of teaching and my results were top notch. And the principal's phoning to keep me on because they know I'm an excellent worker. But this is God pushing me out of that comfortable place into a place where I'm going to have now to learn to chase my goals and chase my dreams. He gave me that dream, so which means I need to now go for that dream. Now I have the option. I can either sit at home and cry about it. I can go and look for a different job where I can again fall into that same pattern of comfortability. Or I can accept this growth phase and I can actually learn the skills necessary. So now I have to learn, how do I market myself? How do I develop the confidence to start a business? How do you start a business? How do you find clients and leads, and how do you produce content? All these things, it is a persistence where even if nothing is happening, you persist. I guarantee you, once you start now on your road to becoming a millionaire and to becoming a millionaire man, you are going to find challenges that are going to feel like it's never ending. But if you can persist right till the end, you must make it. There's going to be an end. You're never going to be poor forever if you're working towards becoming the millionaire man. But that growth phase is the internal work that you need to get that external amount of money. Are you just following?
Yes.
So, I want to leave you off with this final quote. This is my G, Busi Tebakwayo. He is the #1 speaker in South Africa. He earns a lot of money for speaking. I think he charges like at least 2 million for an hour. He says, surviving shouldn't be the option. Extreme success should be. Listen to those words. Extreme success. It's not just a little success. Extreme success. That means I don't want you to aim for the 45,000 plus. I want you to aim for the million. That should be where you are heading towards. You're not supposed to be surviving where at the end of the month you have only like 3,000, 2,000 to spend off the bills. At the end of the month you should have money to blow, have fun, to go and travel, to take care of your family, to invest in other people's lives, to give back to the community. Extreme success must be the option and the goal that you are heading towards. I don't want you to think of surviving as the option. I know the community focuses on survival. And they say, just get yourself a good job so you have some good job security. It's very good to have job security. But that job security is supposed to be a base level for you, where your aim is to go far higher than that. That job security is so that when you're trying and you fall back, you have something to fall on. But you can't fall on it if you haven't actually studied for something that you want to, or you haven't worked towards it, and your career, the people in your career, your boss doesn't like you because you're the terrible worker. So I want you to take those 7 tips, and I want you to keep that dream in mind. I want to become the millionaire man, the person who can make $1 million. That first million is hard, the second is inevitable. You become the person who can make $1 million. That's what you need to do. Extreme success must be what you aim for. Are there any questions?
Are you a millionaire or millionaire person? Or both?
I'm a millionaire person. By next year, September, I'm 30. I'm going to be a millionaire by that time. It will be so nothing to me. My goal before the end of this year is I want to make 400,000 a year, a month. That's my goal for this year. Right? But by September next year, I should be making $1 million. That must be the, you know what I mean? You're supposed to move towards that, and I'm slowly learning those skills. Any other questions? Does anybody have a skill that they are practicing? What is your homework?
Why are you shy? No, join a group of visionaries.
There we go. You need to join a group of visionaries before the end of the year. Please do it. Find people who are that level, because those people are the ones who's going to train you to become. You know, when one of the things when you develop yourself as a person is people see it immediately. When I joined in Jitsu, when I was in like 2016, right? I've always wanted to do martial arts, but my mother never wanted to pay for it. So when I started making money, I started, paying for my own thing. And then I went to this class. It was on a Monday evening, and the sensei only had 4 students. And I said, sir, I really want to join, but I can't because it's on a Monday evening, and Monday evenings I have prayer. Guess what that guy did? He saw me walking, and he knew this guy is somebody I can rely on, because you always need someone I can rely on. I was there one day. He changed the entire roster of the ninjutsu. It went from a Monday to a Tuesday and a Thursday. And now he's second in charge student, and the school now has over 30-40 people. And I'm the one. He's most of the nights he's not there. I'm the one training them, because he saw in that first day, you got something in you. He saw that millionaire man. When I joined PSA, I joined, and they could see this is somebody who loves learning. This is somebody who likes to become something. He's not here to take money from us. He's not here to do this. He's here to learn and gather. Within a year, I was part of the committee, the executive committee. Because I started because they can see this growth in me, the millionaire mindset they can see. That's the same thing you need to do. When you start developing this thing, people are going to see potential in you very quickly. They're going to see you are the person who wants to be a millionaire, and you are the person who can be it, and they're going to put their trust in you. Dwayne, what's your goal?
Open a restaurant.
It's a beautiful one. And you're working towards it?
Yeah.
So
I'm
now,
a former hospitality student.
okay, then perfect. Now, here's what you do. I'll give you a tip. Once you join this group of visionaries, these are people who are usually a lot of times they're millionaires themselves. These are the same people who will invest into that for you. Because you've started to develop a relationship. People underestimate the power of connections. I have a friend, he's a soccer coach. He taught the small children, 5-year-olds how to play soccer. And he used to charge like 300 per person, and there's 10 children in the group, so it's 3,000. And then he met this rich guy who also wants his son to be trained. Now he charges 3,000 rand for one child, because of a connection that he made. And the more connections, the higher connections you make, the more you're able to charge, and the more these are the people who invest in you. And if you want to do something big that requires a lot of money, you need the connections to do it. The T.D. Jakes says when he made his first movie, he had no money at all. How did they make the movie? Millionaires and billionaires all invested money into it. The guy who told him to make the movie said, oh, money is not an option. We can always raise the money. That's the mindset that these millionaires have. Money is never an option. You can always raise the money. We call that OPM, other people's money. That's how you must develop a business. Anyone else? So go. Anyone want to share a goal? And DC way? And DC way? I'm so sorry.
Mine is the same as
I want to develop. Do you want to be the chef, or do you want just to run the?
I want to be a chef and also run.
Then you need to both of it.
Yeah.
Then you must develop that skill. Become that. You know how Gordon Ramsay developed his thing. What he did was he became so good that he started competing in competitions, and every time he wins, his fame grows as the person who can make chef. And then somebody came to him and says, I'd love you to run a restaurant for me. And there's a video of Gordon Ramsay on YouTube where he's with a chef and this chef is yelling him out. And he's just learning and taking the correction how to become a proper chef. You need to take those things to become that person. He now owns restaurants all across the world, millionaire. And if you watch his videos, I love watching Kitchen Nightmares. If you watch his videos, you'll see the professionalism in him. When he corrects people and the things that the small details he looks at the restaurants, why the restaurants are, because he's developed that mindset of, I'm a millionaire. These are details in things that needs to be fixed. That's a millionaire man. If he lost all his money today, I guarantee you he can make it back quickly. Because it's not the making the million that's hard, it's becoming the person that is hard. No other questions?
You guys are normally talkative.
Exactly.
One part of having a goal is saying it, making it real. Yeah? To show.
Taranga, I saw you in that video that Ankia sent me, and I thought, this guy, he must be a millionaire. you need to push for it. I'm hoping that within, how old are you now? 23. I'm hoping that in the next 7 years, you come out as a millionaire. In the next 2 years, you focus on two things. You focus on developing a skill, and you focus on making connections and networking with people. I guarantee you. After that, that network will give you a mindset of a businessman. The skill will give you the skill to use in a business. And after those 2 years, I guarantee you, you start feeling, I don't want to work for people anymore. I want to have my own business. I guarantee you that's going to happen. Because building these connections, it's going to rub off on you. When you see how these people do it, if they can do it, I can also do it. That's how it must be. It's a mindset that you need to adopt. So I hope in the next 7 years you come out as a millionaire. No one else? Any of the adults?
Sorry?
I got a lot of skill, but I'm still a 100 millionaire. I'm not a millionaire.
It will happen. I took out one of my things. It's called persistence, but you need to push. I also encourage you, join a group of millionaires, find out what they do.
I don't know where to get that.
Google. There's quite a few here in Somerset West also. Yeah, there's a lot actually in Somerset West. Yes.
What are you going to do with your first million that you made?
My first million, I always pay my tithes first, so I give some money to the church. From there, I don't actually know. Because for me, it's not even about the money. I can leave that money in my account. When I was making money, none of it mattered. I could give my card to my mother, you use the card. It's not really, the money doesn't matter to me. I just like knowing that I have the money. But the money doesn't matter. I'm working towards a goal. So if I have that million in my account, my next goal is 2 million. And the next one is third million. Make more money. People think it's evil to make more money. It's wrong. There's a wrong belief that they have. You need to make more money. You need to make more. That's how you finance the kingdom. This. No other.
I had that one thing that 70s. My father taught me about getting involved with people that are better than you. So
Yes.
I believe in that.
With the practicing OQP, that is something that people. I spoke about it in my church, and I gave that to them as also as homework for the youth. I don't know how many took it, and it's such an underrated lesson for people to take. You need to develop that. Who you associate yourself with. Are you associating yourself with eagles or with chickens?
Yeah.
Are you gonna be eaten or eat? Find out who you are associating yourself with. I really hope, I'm going to ask Ankia, by the end of this year, you guys have joined the group. It's so easy to find, and you just go online and find out. You can join a Rotary. You know what, I spoke at a few Rotaries, and you know what I realized? All these groups of people, they're so rich. It's because they know this is where other people are. They join clubs, golf clubs. Why do people join golf clubs? Because there's other millionaires there that they want to connect with. Cricket clubs, because there's other millionaires there. Rotaries, because there's other millionaires there. Chapters, because there's other millionaires. The reason why they choose because they want that growth. And the more you spend time with those people, the more you become. But if you hang out with people who are lesser than you, slowly you start to slide down that pole. That's why your parents never wanted you to spend time with somebody who's terrible. Because you slowly fall down to become their level. But if you hang out with people who are above you, you drift towards them. I think if you take anything, take that one. Join a group. Zelda? Any question? You sure? I need some, yes?
What do you search on Google for the groups?
You can search elite mastermind groups. You can search professional groups. Just type in professional groups in Cape Town or in some situations even of. You can search businessman groups. All those kind of things. You search those, I guarantee you find it, and one will always lead you to the next. Find those kind of groups. Join them. It's cheap to join always.
And it's not like scams.
No. Some of them are, look here, if it's a, you will know if it's a pyramid scheme, if they say you pay money and then you must get two people who's going to pay you, Stockveld, WhatsApp Stockveld. But you find, the way you will find it is, especially if it's an in-person group, there's some that are virtual, which are good. But I love those in-person ones where you can actually have that relationship, build that relationship. So find the in-person group you're in, and it's usually never more than 300 Rand. There's some groups that's 3,000 Rand, where you pay for entry basically. But those are also excellent. But for entry-level ones, 300 Rand, I pay 225 for mine. Once a month, I meet them, I hang out, I find out more about them, they give me opportunities.
My question is, don't you think that by you saying that we should be tied to the rap or we saw some people that are like better than us, don't you think that like if you're too hungry for that, maybe for the right or wrong reasons, it will be really for what you're actually aiming for?
It can be, that's why tip number one is put God first. Because when you have God first, you already know there's something here that is not right, that is just taking me off my path where maybe they are prideful, and these are people who are making you prideful, or these are people they're just money hungry. I'm not money hungry. I want money, and I want a lot of it. I want to be a billionaire eventually. I want a lot. But I'm not money hungry. If I lose all that money, I can start again. It's not the money, it's the person. So when you join these groups, you also want to put boundaries. There's a quote from Warren Buffett who says the difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no more often. They say no a lot. No to who hangs out with them. No to who sits in their company. They're not just gonna let anyone come and sit and come hang out by their house. Chris Tucker was telling in one of his comedy videos, he was saying they were invited to a party at Oprah Winfrey's house, and she's a billionaire. He says none of them were allowed inside the house. They had to stay outside for the party. And the people at the party is all millionaires. Only the billionaires are allowed inside the house. They don't allow any, because that's another level of allowing people into your life. You need to set those boundaries of, these are the people I associate with. I hardly ever go out. So if I get a chance to go out and hang out with people, I'm happy. Because I'm seeing these are the people I'm aiming for. These are the people I'm aspiring to be. And one day I'm going to join another group where I can find even higher people, and another group where I can find even higher people. That's how you develop. I hope that answers your question. If there's no other questions, then okay.
So thank you very much, Val. I think we've all learned a lot. You're inspired.
Yes.
And don't forget it. So please, because that's the difficult part, is now you're feeling inspired, you've heard something that makes you think. But 2 weeks from now, how are you going to remember it? How are you going to internalize it and make it part of your DNA, so to speak? So that's going to be the hard part, to keep on pushing.
That angle? 7 years.
7 years.
7 years.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that I get a few millionaires out here and get a call saying, Kyle, I'm a millionaire. Let's go for some lunch. Well,
Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate your time.
thank you.